Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another stream and another episode of Journey to the Farlands. We are officially in the 390s. Isn't that cool? And an episode a week means that it's going to be another, well, actually, I guess this will be a bit of a crossroads pretty soon. I mean, actually, no, it's not pretty soon. It's now. It's coming up pretty soon. Today's episode, it's going to be half an hour, probably. But it's going to be a little bit more of me just kind of talking about things. I mean, I guess that's what I usually do, but it's going to be a lot of just like, well, I have a lot of busyness happening. I'm not going to talk about too much, but I should probably, address things and be like, yep, things are going to change a little bit for the next few weeks. I think until about 2 weeks from now, I'm probably going to take a hiatus from streaming and stuff. I might do a light bit of streaming every once in a while, but I want to really try and focus on my finals coming up. Ooh, spooky. I'm not really actually that scared of them. I just would rather not fail. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be happening. So I'm probably going to take a hiatus because even when I might play on the server, so I might get a stream. I might still stream, but I'm going to try and avoid gaming for too much or too long at a time. So I think like taking a hiatus from the streaming will be good. So I'll be back probably 2 weeks from now with more streams if I don't do any this week. Like I said, I might end up working them in, but honestly, I might just want to chillax and just get away from the streaming and all that for a good bit. It's not really all that shocking to me that I'd want to do it because I've had a bit of a rough go of it with things with like school. I'm doing good, but it's been rough. So I want to kind of get it all back together again. So I'm just willing to do just about anything to, not have to retake things and whatnot. It's a bit of a mess. But yeah, that is kind of the big elephant in the room that I wanted to address right away. So anyone kind of come in here being like, why is there no streams? Why is this your last episode, your last video? That'd be why. So yeah, I'm going to come back in a few weeks and I'm going to start, at least for Journey, I'm going to start Winter Wonderland, or at least whatever. I'm going to try and think of a plan. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I guess this will give me some time to think about it. I'll kind of maybe do some marathons or that kind of thing. I don't really know how I want to do it yet. But when I get back, we're back in like full color. I'm going to be able to do streams like every day again. It's going to be good. I'm going to be able to do a few weeks of daily streams. And Journey will be daily, and I'll do like probably 1 to 2 streams a day. So that'll be good to go back to that for a bit before I have to go back into a winter term. But yeah, that's kind of the big, spooky thing over the horizon for me. So my next stream, if I don't do anything else, will be, in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, that is quite the shift for me. But I think I need something to really jump me into place, and maybe I should do this more often around exams. I might try and lean away from distraction. But yeah, I'm gonna work super hard these next few weeks, and then you'll get me back when I'm super laid back and done all my craziness. Anywho, what should I talk about first beyond that? I always feel like my volume is so loud. Let me turn my headset down. Hopefully it's not too loud on the stream. I mean, it would have been for months and months now. So I feel like someone would have commented it, but you never know. I guess I could go over what I have done recently. I've done a bit of craziness with streaming lately. I guess I could have delayed them a bit and pushed them out a bit more evenly. But I did do another Subnautica episode, another Subnautica stream. I did, of course, my birthday stream, which in the last Journey episode I said was going to be a Journey episode on Friday, because my birthday was on Friday. Oh, that was so good. Birthdays on Fridays are the best, guys. Like, it's the greatest, and can't wait for another one like that. Got to hang out with my friends, and it was a good time. It was a good time to just chillax, and that really got me behind on studying, and now I'm kind of gonna have to rebound, and that's why I'm taking my break. But it was a good weekend. This was a really good weekend, and it wasn't super efficient for school. I mean, today was like a solid work day for me. I worked my job, and then I was also doing work at school and stuff. So it was a bit of a long day. I just felt like doing a journey stream to cap things off today for me. And it ended up being good timing because I was like, yeah, I actually probably should talk about the fact that I'm not going to be, streaming for the next few weeks. Or at least I'm not intending to. But yeah, birthday stream went really well. I did 2 separate streams on my birthday. The one released on Friday itself, and then the second part released on Saturday. The first part was Brickcraft, which I know I talked about. Someone recommended it. I try it, and I did actually give it a look at, and I played a hardcore world with it. And I do know that it's a paid resource pack, and I got got a one-time purchase. So I'll probably have to do a few more streams on it to get my money's worth out of it. But it's a really cool pack. It's not completely finished, which is a little bit but like it was pretty good from what I got to see, and with the shaders and stuff, it was great. But that was part 1. I was just trying out a hardcore world with a bunch of cool mods and stuff, and of course the texture pack. And then part 2 was Newcraft. This was all on my birthday before I hung out with my friends, and it was good. Like, these past 4 days have been pretty good. Probably because I haven't really had to think about work, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, yeah, gotta really lock in. Gotta really get in the zone. But yeah. What else have I done? Yeah, a lot of streams recently. Like I said, I guess I did that journey stream last week. I think I did an extra long one not too long ago to make up for lost time. Maybe. I don't remember if I did actually do that 2-hour one. I think I was intending to do a 2-hour one, but I cut it short. Because I think I got tired or something. Unless I did actually manage to do it, I don't remember. Let me check. Subnautica, Renewcraft, Birthday Stream 3, Hardcore Adventures, Birthday Stream 3. It was kind of cool to return to the name of Hardcore Adventures. I'm not quite sure. We'll see where I'm at 2 weeks from now with like series and stuff, like coming back to things. I think Subnautica will be one I want to keep going with. Hardcore Adventures, I think I want to try and do a few more on. Make it into a bit of a mini series, but we'll see. Yeah, the journey episode. Yeah, I only got like a 1 hour. I think it was just like, yeah, I missed a week, but I'll be doing pretty good in the winter here in my winter break. I think I'll do weekly episodes, or not weekly, daily, not weekly. Try and do daily and see how work goes for me, like my job work. I mean, not school work, because I won't have school work. Oh, thank goodness. And yeah, I'll see what else I get up to. I still might just try and do like weekly episodes of things, just like normal. I might do more stuff. I think if I'm gonna do more of anything, it'll be the server, because we only really have a month of a trial to go through, and then I kind of am gonna evaluate the server basically and decide whether I want to keep it going further. Like it'll be really the only time I actually like properly evaluate it. Like I'll only really go back and do that later on if I really have reason to. I'm usually not that constringent about things. But I want to be cautious about spending money on a server and stuff. I usually wouldn't do that. I usually actually host it on my own computer, but we are using Bedrock, and I wasn't too peeved about doing it for like 1 month. We could have done it for free. Devin actually could have hosted it for the first month, but I was like, it's okay. If we can get our you know, that, you know, if I feel like I've gotten my money's worth out of it, then I'll keep it going. That's kind of the whole dealio with that. It's kind of weird having that layer on a Minecraft world. I'd rather just host it and not have to worry about it, but it's also more convenient for the players that I don't have to constantly turn on the server. They don't have to rely on me to be able to play. So I think that'll help people just being able to play whenever they want. And no matter the time of day, because I know back in the old Newcraft, Nathan played really late at night, and I would have had to have kept my computer on overnight, and I kind of have been going against that recently. I know, so unless people AFK, but I don't have to worry about that with the realm now. I usually wouldn't do realms, but like I said, if I can get my money's worth out of this, like, you know, it's kind of a, you know, it's not cheap. It's not really a cost-effective thing. You know, there's much better ways of doing this, but this was kind of the only way we could do it that would kind of be still similar to what I want, kind of thing, where it doesn't involve me and Devin having to join another server or having to find new people to join our server, kind of thing. We got the old reliables and stuff, so I think that's kind of the ideal for us right now. And yeah, like I said, there is like joining other servers and stuff, but I kind of like being able to just have like a blank world to us and not really going into a pre-existing thing. I talked to Devin about that because I know he was debating actually, you know, us playing on a server like that when we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do. And I was just like, well, I want to have like a world that's our own, and I want to have a world that we have the control over, that, you know, it's not in the hands of someone else, kind of thing. I guess that's kind of what it's like for the members of the server, but I want them to kind of feel that security that if, you know, they're really into it, then I'll just keep it going. Like it won't be like something like before. I feel like I was always on everyone's case about things, and I don't think I'll be like that this time, even if it is like a monetary commitment. I think it'll have to be a pretty stark difference for me to actually shut things down. I might have to reevaluate specific members or something if people become inactive for a long time and don't really specify. Like if people are just like gone for months and they don't really have interest in it anymore, then I'll just kind of be like, oh, I might like ask them or whatever and be like, are you, you're really invested in this? Are you able to actually keep playing? And I don't really expect everyone to play all the time. Heck, I couldn't even play all the time. I'm, you know, taking a 2-week break here. So breaks are fine, but I don't mean to sound like someone that'd be like heckling people for taking breaks on a Minecraft server. Yeah, that's not really my goal. I just don't want this to be basically throwing money at something that, you know, it's like beating a dead horse kind of thing. That's really what I'm after, is just getting worth out of stuff, because the whole reason I even went back to Bedrock and stuff was because I kind of had this epiphany that really I like to play Minecraft with other people. That's how I enjoy the game. I like playing with my friends. I have the most fun doing the collaborations and all that. That's just a fact, you know, for me. Like that, I can't really avoid that. I've done single player stuff. I've tried to do things with Devin. I just don't have the commitment. I think it's not impossible to do it. It would require a lot more discipline, and it could, you know, return and become enjoyable. But I found that a lot of my like projects with Devin or solo projects kind of just fell flat on their face. Minecraft's a very tricky game for me with motivation. I'm sure it's the same for a number of you. I feel like that's a pretty big sentiment, or a notable sentiment in the community, is the 2-week phase of Minecraft. And I feel like maybe it wasn't exactly 2 weeks for me. Maybe for some worlds it was 2 weeks, but I feel like I just kind of shut off as soon as other people shut off with the servers. That was kind of the big issue. And then the issue with playing on your own or with another person is if the other person doesn't play, then why should you play? And then, well, I mean, I could get into that with Devin, mine and Devin's world, because Devin actually played for like consistently. It wasn't that caused that. for that one. But I feel like you have to have your own motivation as well, not just like people playing. Like people could play something and I'm just not really into it. I have to get myself hooked into it as well, and that's what I've been trying to do in Redo Craft with my base and stuff that I've been getting excited about. Just trying to throw some new stuff, try some new styles. That's what I always like to do. And what I usually do is I would take a reference and I'd basically be pretty true to it. But I think this time I'm just gonna try and I've got that reference initially, but now I'm gonna try and deviate from that and kind of figure out what I want out of it instead of just building. I mean, I kind of do that anyway, but I feel like it'd be even more noticeable if I just kind of didn't go purely based on the reference and made it into because building's kind of an art, at least for me. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the paletting and all that. I'm not super meticulous with building. Sometimes I guess I could be, but I feel like I'm relatively more on the macro side than the micro. I like details, trust me, but I feel like I just like building things for building things. I don't really like having everything have a purpose necessarily. Although I guess that's not always true in survival. Usually a lot of my main bases tend to be based on function, even if they can stretch far beyond in scale. There's still like that like core function, which I mean is I guess necessary for a survival base, but it always varies. I find some people go super aesthetic and don't have any function. Some people go super function and have no aesthetic. Just play the game to beat the game, and it kind of reminds me of how I play Terraria. I don't really play Terraria like I do Minecraft. I don't really build a nice base in that game because I'm more focused on the bosses and stuff and the loot. And Minecraft, I'm not really focused on the bosses. I don't mind the loot. I mean, I guess in the past I actually would have prioritized it. I just kind of do whatever. That's really my compass, is doing whatever. And it's not really good for motivation to just do whatever. You kind of need to push yourself beyond just doing whatever. And it's been a bit of a challenge for me, even transcending just the games and stuff. Motivation is a real thing, and burnout's real. I've gotten burnt out a lot in not only real life but also games and stuff. I learned a lot of lessons through the old worlds. The old Minecraft worlds I hosted with other people. Like, kind of basically me pushing other people to play doesn't really work. I mean, you can't really push people who aren't interested. You're just pushing them around and it's not really getting anywhere. Not in like a negative sense completely. It's not like you're like arguing, but like just like trying to sway people to play a bit, like being like, oh, we should do the X and whatnot on the world and that kind of thing. I find sometimes it helps, but I feel like if it's too far gone, then it's just kind of back to that beating a dead horse thing. Oh, motivation is an interesting thing because I feel like my philosophy is always kind of just doing whatever I prioritize, and I guess that's true for a lot of people, but I feel like there's also a lot of people who don't really do that. They don't really do what they want to do. They do what other people would want them to do, or they do what they think would be good for themselves, but they don't necessarily want to do, which I guess is kind of a fine balance. And finding that fine balance is tricky. So yeah, lots of stuff to grapple with. But the journey continues regardless of any exterior issue. Journey must continue. I must get to the Farlands. It is not an if, it is a when. And I am confident about that. The closer I get, the more really I start to realize that this might actually happen. I feel like for a while, when I started to disconnect from Journey, when I started doing it like once a week, it was nice. But I feel like I was kind of worried that I was gonna just drop this world in this series because I'm just uh, changing my priorities in life and doing different things. But I feel like it hasn't really changed, and I feel like it won't change. Um, if anything, if I get disinterested, I'll probably get that interest back. I find. I think it goes back to what I originally kind of thought. Well, not originally thought completely, but kind of when I reevaluated. Because my original thought with this world and project was that I would kind of get um, put off. I would get put off fairly quickly, and I would kind of drop it like everything else I've done. Pretty much anything else. A few select things have actually done well, but they require what I call heart, and I think Journey had heart. I think Journey had maybe not. Maybe heart's not the right word. It's heart's definitely a part of it, but I think it goes beyond that. It's something to grab you. Something to It can be really anything. It could be interest, which I usually perceive it with like interest or passion or kind of quirkiness or novelty. Something along those lines. It could be something more aggressive, like, or not aggressive, but something more like unpleasant, I guess. Like being forced to do something, and then that being your motivation. I find motivation's a very interesting topic to talk about because it applies to a lot of people, and I'm sure it applies to you guys watching. Some of it, some various points and things. I'm sure there's plenty of delineation and all that, but I'm just kind of generally spouting just what I'm thinking as I do. But yeah, it is definitely interesting, that whole topic, because I've talked about it to no bound, but it's I feel like it's just as fresh a discussion as ever, whenever I bring it up. But yeah, going back to what I was talking about, like the beginning kind of thing. I kind of used to be like with like this series, it was always the if I get to the Farlands, and it was just kind of like, yeah, I realize this world is just in this state where I don't really want to be without it forever, kind of thing. Like I want to keep doing it. I want to like that's something I'd hope for Newcraft or Renewcraft. I feel like it was never really well and fully there with Legacy Newcraft 1, which is the real, I guess both Newcraft 1s. It's always like the first world of each thing that was like had the most hope. The second one was always like, I find. It's always like, well, we need to change things. We need to reinvent the wheel, be iterative, or we need to go back a step. And I don't know. I feel like the second thing is always like worse quality, even if it seems better at the time. But yeah, that first world, it was just kind of, I played enough through that year that the world was around. I don't know if I was like super uber connected with the world. I actually, well, in kind of a bit of hyper or a bit of like oppositeness to that oppositeness, and a bit of like a flip. I think I actually did want to stay in that world and just move to a new spawn, and then we could go back, and then that could have been a long-term world that way. But we wanted to do something brand new, something completely different with going to Newcraft 2 at that time with like the island thing. The continent, which actually came back this year, funnily enough, with Newcraft Season 2 again. I think the continent is a really cool idea for a Minecraft world. It's a good way to keep people together and to keep people networked. And it's a good motivation to build paths and stuff, even though I feel like more often than not, we don't really do paths in our worlds. It takes a little bit to do paths because they're time consuming, especially if you're far away from each other. But I think paths really help with the physical, but also just like feeling connected as well. That feeling of being connected. Oh, that's really cool over there. Look at that. Farland-like terrain. But like things like paths and that kind of thing are really nice. I really personally like districts. That's a system that I've been kind of re-implementing. The original one in Legacy Newcraft 2 was rougher on the edges. It was kind of built off of Hermitcraft's district system from season 6. And it was just really rough around the edges, and I just found it separated us, and it didn't help that our group was just not really jiving completely. Like, I feel like there was always some kind of thing going on, some kind of tiff between people. And that doesn't really work. You know, you want to have people that have good chemistry and, you know, at least are like, can put up with each other and not like, you know, absolutely just get, you know, super angry or whatever. So yeah, people. Definitely have talked about this kind of stuff before, but it's always interesting for me anyway. Maybe it's not for you. I have no idea, but I think it is interesting because this is a big part of how I've enjoyed this game. I think, I mean, we're very social beings, so it's not too big of a stretch to say that we like social connection and doing things with other people, and I think it's a good way to do that is through games and stuff. I think it's a great medium because you can create whole worlds, and Minecraft is especially great for that because it's just a complete and utter sandbox. Like, there's just so many possibilities. Like, you know, of course in this world I've chosen to go to the Farlands, but I could have done things anywhere in this world, you know, stopped it anywhere, and you know, there's just so much opportunity in this game, and it's great. And when you couple that with like other people, I think there's something so cool about that spontaneity, about just like anything could happen. You know, people, not like anything could happen, but like people could base anywhere, and you know, like people build all sorts of things, and you know, you have the general play styles, but I think like just different worlds is such a cool concept, and maybe not even to the different worlds, but I think just throwing people in a world together and just kind of seeing how things go is cool for me. And trying to get something that works is also a thing. It's been, you know, almost, well, I guess in 2 days it'll be 4 years since the original Newcraft, the real original Newcraft started, and that was kind of the first proper SMP I was a part of. And it brings back a lot of different mixed emotions and things. The whole topic of SMPs for me is a little strange because I feel like I've gone through like well over a dozen, probably almost 20 worlds. I don't even know how at this point. In just the past 4 years, ever since I really got into survival, like properly, going beyond just like the iron or just scraping diamond, like actually playing the game in survival has been lovely. But having to do it through all these different worlds is a bit challenging. I would really love to have a world that could just stick around a little bit, you know? That's not just so fleeting like all the rest. And it's happened a few times, like this year with Newcraft Season 1, it got really good. And then it just kind of splat, you know. Although I did do really good on that world. Even if I was like, well, I'm not going to reach my goals in the time that I wanted to reach them, so we should just restart kind of thing. Like, I think limiting myself like that is not very good, because then it just leads to stuff like that. But that's like that topic basically. Like, it's just, yeah, motivation, and I think the servers are a big part of what I want to do with Minecraft. And honestly, the channel, I want to really have like a main series on the channel that is, I mean, Journey is the main series, of course, but I want to have like a main like SMP that I do. And I'm hoping that even though I'm not really able to edit and do all the fancy stuff, that at least it'll gather a few people, and at least that could also help motivate me like it did with Journey. Which is a little bit different, of course, to Journey. I know a lot of people just come to Journey to watch me walk along and listen to me talk. But that's a little bit different with like other people and different progression and all that. So I don't blame people for just kind of being here for the journey, just sticking along for the ride. And I thank people who, you know, give this series and this channel the time of day, because it's I feel like it's really easy to just lean in on the popular people. And honestly, I do that myself. I feel like I don't give the small creators enough attention where it's due, because I feel like there's a lot of small people out there, you know, small creators that are doing things that the big creators are just not. It's just kind of not really, you know, they don't even, you know, sometimes they don't even think about that kind of stuff, or it's just stuff that's like just so novel, a lot of novelty in small creators, because I find the bigger creators tend to fall into that kind of routine and to fall into habit. And I guess I do as well, and the small creators do as well. But I digress. I think there's something nice though about small creators. I should probably give, you know, just look around a bit more. Try and get, you know, meet a bit more smaller creators at some point. It's nice. You know, not you know, having a bit of a more tighter knit community than like, you know, going to videos that have like hundreds of thousands of viewers or that kind of thing. Like it's a real shift. It's a real shift, definitely. Where I mean, yeah, even in a community that big, networking is not actually that hard. It's pretty good to, or pretty easy to make, like, you know, better connections with like smaller channels and that kind of thing. Because I feel like it just is a lot more, like I said, tightly knit, and it's just a lot easier. Oh, the sun sets on another day. I should probably wrap things up, though. Good conversations, regardless. Oh, I didn't take a thumbnail. Well, today's one's gonna be the sunset. I like the snow biome. Bit of foreshadowing for next episode, if I do wait. Oh, this is a cool mountain over there. Look at that. Well, I guess that'll do it for the episode today. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go up to the top of this mound here, and then, yeah, we'll wrap her up. Oh, this is kind of neat looking. I love the snow biomes. I can't wait to do an outpost in the snow biome. Whether it be this one or one in the future. You know, after I get back, I might do a bit more marathoning and walking and stuff before I get on with the other stuff. But yeah. Oh, don't want to sleep. You're not in the mood to sleep. Oh, whoa. Okay, hang on, let me. I love that bug. That's great. What the heck? Oh, oh, whoa. Hang on. There we go. That is a weird bug. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna eat some mushroom stew into this episode of Journey to the Farlands, and I will see you all in the next one after my hiatus, maybe, unless I decide to stream. But yeah, goodbye.